helping each other out, getting a quick stream out, talking about some hockey news, although the coronavirus is really ruining everything. But outside of that, hey, always good to get to some hockey.
Yeah, it's good to build up the chemistry for us, and it will be interesting for next week as we get to have our first ever guest for next week. So let's get started. So we're doing 5 UFAs as always. So first is Tyson Barrie from the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's a defenseman at 28 years of age. His last salary cap signings was $5.5 million on the AAV. He was traded last season, but originally signed with Colorado and traded to Toronto. Do you think he will sign with Toronto, or he might go to a different team?
I think Tyson Barrie, I don't really know if the Maple Leafs would want to re-sign him to like that long-year deal I think he's expecting. I could see maybe the Islanders wanting to get Tyson Barrie, but I'd probably say the Islanders would probably be my front runner. But I definitely wouldn't see Tyson Barrie returning to Toronto. I just don't think that they would want to pay, kind of like an Asian defenseman all that much. But hopefully Alex didn't get kicked off here. And well, anyway, yeah, like I said, though, I think the Islanders could get a shot. I think Johnny Boychuk and Nick Leddy might retire at the end of this year. So I think, the Islanders, they're basically like, a couple solid players away from like a deep playoff run. So, yeah. But anyway, Alex, welcome back into the stream. Like I said, I think Tyson Barrie will be going to the Islanders. And, welcome back, Alex.
All right. I apologize, everyone. Do I think he's going to re-sign with Toronto? No, because it's a rental as far as I'm concerning from him. And I also heard he might sign with the New York Islanders. It's gonna be risky for the Islanders. For my concern, as you got Devon Tays, and Pelech. I might butcher his name, but let's not worry about that. Devon Tays and Pelech are young elite defensemen who is like growing into their games. If you add like Barrie, might be a solid pickup, but like not be like a defensive powerhouse like what they did last season. With like Johnny Boychuk and Dennis Seidenberg as their veterans. I think it might be good. I'm gonna say this once again, having like a guy who's in their prime, that can grab up experiences with young guys. Maybe some players like who recently got drafted like last year or the year before that. Just give a little bit of NHL taste with those guys and just to figure it out. If I was thinking where he might go, probably Philadelphia. I've been a huge fan with the Flyers defensive D-core with Matt Niskanen, Travis Sanheim, Sam Morin a little bit, but he's a depth defenseman.
Tell you one thing, Robert Hag impressed me on this year. I wasn't expecting much out of him.
Yeah, Hag and Braun and Shane Gostisbehere.
Of course, the Ghost.
Yeah, if I would be okay seeing a trade like a swap defenseman like Tyson Barrie and Sam Morin, because like you're only gonna have a lot of NHL defensive players. Sam Morin might not get into a fit in the NHL level. So if there is like easy like defensemen like as Toronto, Ottawa, Detroit, then Morin will have a good availability of being in the NHL level. All right. Next is Jacob Markstrom. He is 30 years old, $3.67 million per year. As last contract, do you think he's going to re-sign with Vancouver?
This Jacob Markstrom's interesting going because he made the All-Star game, but at the same time, right after that, he got injured. So I don't know. Markstrom is 30, and I mean, this is basically like his last gasp at like really getting a starting job, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see the Canucks like wanting to gamble like a cheap 1 or 2 year deal, but like would I say anything over like 2 years? Probably not. I would say Vancouver might resign him, although they might put him as a backup for like next year or the year after that. But I think the Canucks will probably resign him. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, outside of like Buffalo or like maybe Detroit, I really don't see like another team that would like want to pick him up. So yeah, I guess we could. I guess we could go with the. Him going to yeah.
Yeah, I would say he's definitely gonna resign. I've been a huge fan with Markstrom and Thatcher Demko this season. Demko has been a lot showing progress than last season. Last season doesn't matter with Vancouver because like Harrison and Hughes are starting to build up chemistry and starting with a new era with Bo Horvat as captain, and I think that was a good move.
Absolutely.
And I think Markstrom is gonna have a bridge deal level. Not like he might have the same level million, like maybe like $4.4 million per year, or maybe kept like 3.9 just to see like if there's any issues with him, then that'll be a support of Markstrom and the ownership of the Canucks organization. I'm gonna say he's gonna resign because Vancouver is in a playoff contending. Well, they're expecting to have a playoff contending for the next 5 years to build for the future, and trying to build up a rookie named Vasily Podkolzin, who is a solid rookie forward that can show some progress, but needs to develop in Utica. So once Markstrom shows improvement, when Podkolzin comes in, then I think they're gonna have a good. We'll extend the locker room chemistry and then do on that, this, and that. Robin Leonard, goaltender from the Vegas Golden Knights. He's 28 years old. He was with the Islanders. No, Islanders or Blackhawks. $5 million per year. Do you think he's going to resign with Vegas?
This is a tough one. I could see Vegas wanting to re-sign him, especially if they want to, maybe trade away Fleury or whatever to free up some cap space. But at the same time, it's interesting because, at this point, Robin Leonard, I mean, whenever he has tried to have a starting job, he has failed. He failed in Ottawa. He failed in Buffalo. He didn't really do that great in Chicago when, he was mainly becoming the starter over there, got traded for Malcolm Subban. I mean, come on. I mean, you're going to trade for Malcolm Subban. You ain't doing something right. And I just don't know. It's like Robin Leonard, he's good for what he is. He's a good rental backup. Sign the guy to a 1-2 year deal. I wouldn't give him anything like over 3 years or like over like 10 mil, but I mean, it should be interesting. I would imagine Vegas would probably re-sign him. The Jets, if Carter Hellebuyck needs a rest. But outside of that, though, I mean, I think he will ultimately re-sign with Vegas on a cheap, like 2 year deal, probably.
Yeah. I agree with you on a different way. I think he might be with Washington just to help out with Ilya Samsonov. Like you said, like he failed with Ottawa and Buffalo as a starting level goaltender. I'm not sure if Washington's going to go in a other direction of having of Leonard wearing the Washington Capitals sweater. Like that, I agree with you in Toronto. Probably, I would say Dallas because
Mm.
Kudobin is like a little hesitating this season, but and also Ben Bishop. Dallas can be a good ownership. LA needs some ownership. Anaheim needs ownership with John Gibson. San Jose, I'm going through the California teams because they need more
Yeah.
ownership. So between the California teams, I'll say San Jose because they've been a caught off guard team. Thought that they're gonna improve like last season, but from that, I think they need another good goaltender as Robin
Yeah,
Lehner.
because Martin Jones has just fallen to shreds recently. I don't know what's been going on with him. But I mean, it's not his fault. The Sharks' defense has just aged like a millennium over a year. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's unfortunate. But
yeah, that's
yeah, I
true.
mean, like I said, I mean, he's a solid backup. Like, he's probably going to be one of the best backup goalies in the league. I mean, if you're just looking for a goaltender, I would not just put him as your starter, though. Or, maybe, you can, like, play 41 games. The other goalie plays 41 games. Maybe you could do something like that. But outside that, yeah, no, I wouldn't really rely on Robin Lehner starting 50-plus games for me. No way.
Yes. Here's an interesting one for those who are listening or watching. Right wing Evgeny Dadonov from the Florida Panthers. He's in the end of his prime at 30 years of age, $4 million per year. Do you think he has a good shot signing with Florida this year or this offseason?
I can kind of see Florida wanting to re-sign him. At the same time, like you mentioned, he's basically going to start hitting his decline stage in a year or two. So, I don't know. I could probably see him getting Dan off again, kind of like Robin Lehner, like maybe staying with the Panthers for like a 1-2 year deal worth like no more than $10 million. I could also maybe try to see Dan off going elsewhere where he might be able to fit in like Tampa Bay, Boston, St. Louis, like a good contender that could certainly use that second or third line player, or maybe even first line. I mean, if like Nikita Kucherov gets injured for the Lightning, but I mean, I think Dadonov ultimately will stay in Florida as well. But at the same time, I could easily see him trying to go to a contender like Dallas as well. I could see him going to like at least like a legit playoff team, try to win a ring or something like that as well. But I don't know. Getting Dadonov's an interesting one because, 1 year is really good and the next year he's kind of like non-existent. So it's interesting. Getting Dadonov is a player I've kept my eyes on for a very long time. And it took him forever to make it to the NHL. I mean, he was just an AHL sensation for a while there, but luckily he came back up, and he's definitely made his opportunity worthwhile. But yeah, this should be interesting. I don't know if he'll be getting a pay raise or be making just the amount he's making now. But yeah, getting that enough should be interesting.
Yeah, I agree with re-signing. Well, Dadonov came out of Europe like 2 seasons ago.
Exactly.
So like
Europe, he's been everywhere.
Yeah. I'm saying like probably he wasn't the player that he was since he came back. He only played like 2 years since he just went off to Europe. There I might talk like Carolina just to replace Justin Williams if he retires. There might be talks about him going to Detroit or having him to or maybe have Dadonov go to like Chicago or Ottawa so that the Blackhawks can have a good chance of making the playoffs, and Ottawa needs like 2 more years to make the playoffs with Dadonov so that they can have good a good rebuilding job, probably the Rangers, in my mind, because your understanding about the Rangers trying to go after to make the playoffs with Artemi Panarin, Capo Caco, Chris Kreider, Adam Fox, Jacob Trouba, Jesper Foss, Mika Zibanejad, Yuriev, Lundqvist, Shesterkin, and you name all these players. If you add Dadonov, then I think that's a good move, you know?
I mean, that pretty much. I mean, the Rangers are already a borderline playoff team. I mean, you just add on Dadonov, and then boom, they are at least a wild card, if not better. So, yeah, I could definitely see him going to New York. You know, New York thinking like, oh, they're only one player away. But if you think about it, so is Florida. You know, they would want to re-sign him too, because the Panthers are also a team that are just like, oh, like one really good player away. And I think if they lost Dadonov, I think that would really hurt them a lot. But especially it would just absolutely probably implode their second lineup production, but just we'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, Dadonov, that it's gonna be very interesting where he goes.
Yeah. All right. I was about to say your staticky, but we will keep going. Because we are in a full stretch of completing this topic, and then we'll have you go on with your topics. Yarrow Halak. There is a big talk of him leaving or staying. He is 34 years of age, $2.75 million per year with the Boston Bruins in his second season in the Bruins uniform. Do you think he's going to resign or not? You're going to have fun with this, don't you?
Oh, I think Yaroslav Halak is absolutely going to re-sign with the Bruins. And I'll tell you one thing. Over the past 2 years, Rask and Halak have been the best starting backup rotation in all of hockey. I was writing a Tech Mahal article about this the other week of how dominant they were, because mainly, you know, Rask, he's a good goaltender, but once you play him for like 3 games straight, he is absolutely fried. And then, you know, you put in Halak, and, you know, Halak, he's not back of this, plays 1 game, boom, you can bench him. You can play Halak 2 or 3 straight games as well if you need to. I knew Rask was out with a concussion earlier in the year, and Halak did such a great job. You know, at least, you know, if the Bruins lost, they were at least losing in overtime or shifts. They were getting points against Eastern Conference opponents. They were beating solid teams like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. And, I mean, they were just on a roll. So, you know, hopefully this coronavirus pandemic doesn't hopefully hurt that hope that the tendies at all. But, yeah, I definitely think Yaroslav Halak will re-sign with the Bruins. Like I said, probably a 2-year deal. And then I'll probably end up retiring after that. But, yeah, I think Yaroslav Halak should definitely re-sign with Boston. I think even he would know that, like, that would probably be the best move for himself. Because, I mean, everywhere else, I mean, yeah, he was good on the Blues, but he went over to, I believe it was the Islanders, and, you know, he kind of flopped over there. Then, you know, head over to Boston, and it's been like a career resurgence for Halak. So I would definitely imagine him going to the Bruins. I know, or staying with the Bruins, I should say. I know a lot of players like him as well. So, yeah, I definitely see the Bruins front office making that move.
Yeah, and according to Cat Friendly, which is also our next topic, the Boston Bruins cap situation. So it's like, why not we include with that? So the Boston Bruins are right against the cap with $543,000. There are like big parts, some like big names, who are on top of their contracts, featuring Yaroslav Halak, Torrey Krug, Joachim Nordstrom, Jake DeBrusk, and Anders Bjork. It's pretty tough mapping it out. And also Zdeno Chara, he's definitely going to retire in my mind. So, I don't know. Like, do you need to trade like Chris Wagner and Sean Corrali that can clear up some cap space, or like if you were Don Sweeney, like what would you do?
I mean, I guess Chris Wagner might be able to go. I don't think I would get rid of Corrali. I think maybe like Matt Krivlick, but I don't think he's making too much. So maybe keep him around. I'm thinking. I mean, I know it's been room forever, but David Krejci. I mean, I think. I mean, I get it. He's borderline Bruins legend, but I think David Krejci's got to go. And I've been saying that for a few years now. I mean, yeah, he's great production, especially on the second line, and he's been doing a wonderful job with Andreas Bajork. But the problem is, he's well in his decline stage. And yeah, he makes a lot of assists, but like honestly, Krejci just doesn't really impress me that much anymore. So I mean, I would guess maybe try to like pull off a trade like how you trade away David Backes to Anaheim. I would maybe try to trade away Krejci to a team kind of like in win now mode. Say like I don't know, maybe like Edmonton or something. Be a good like third liner there. Or good second, third liner on like a decent team, maybe even Colorado. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I get rid of a player, I would probably say David Krejci because and if Char retires, been great. But you gotta make room for Halak. You gotta make room for Torrey Krug. You gotta make room for all these guys. And unfortunately, I think some of these guys are gonna have to go, and I think Krejci will have to be one of them. Do I think the Bruins will actually do it? Probably not, because they are way too loyal with their players. But I don't know. I could certainly see Krejci on the move if the Bruins were going to try and free up some cap.
Yeah. All right. So next on contract situations, and then we'll have you take over. I might redo my camera since it's staticky. But I'll figure it out. So the Caps contract situation, they're right against the cap at negative $64,506. I think what's gonna help is if Holtby leaves, Nick Jensen leaves. That's a waste of a $2.5 million per year. I think if Dylan Jensen Holtby leaves, they'll give you probably like $9 million, like $8 million remaining, because Holtby is $6.1 million per year. Nick Jensen is $2.5 million per year, and Brandon Dillon is $1.635 million per year. I think it's gonna work out, maybe. But also don't forget Kovalchuk. He has $350,000. So like, I think it's good for spending now. Since the Caps have a good chance of going all in, of grabbing a big name player, or maybe like a big name defenseman like Torrey Krug. If Nick Jensen or Brendan Dillon leaves, that'll take over some cap space. Like, you have like $2 million left of cap space, but it has to be included by rookies who are unsigned. So like, I think it's pretty tough by the Caps organization,
Yeah, they are definitely in an interesting spot.
All right. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna be back. I have to fix my camera. So like, you might have to see me be on my phone. So well. So yeah. I'll be back in 5 seconds. So yeah.
All right.
Well,
as Alex repairs his camera, I was going to talk about the Bruins salary cap a little bit as well. Like I said, I think David Krejci, will the Bruins get rid of him? Probably not, but I think Krejci might as well be out the door at this point. Pretty sure he's either, in the 34 to 36 year range. And I mean, obviously hockey players just fall away after that. He still makes quite a bit of assists. I believe he was top 5 in assists, but I don't know. It should be interesting what David Krejci does, as it looks like Alex is back. So that was quick.
All right. Here we are. now I'm taking over with my phone, so now we are in good condition. Graham, would you like to take over with your topics?
Yes, actually, I would indeed like to. I'm going to talk about a few topics, but one in particular, we talked about the Blue Jackets re-signing Jonas Korpisalo last week. Well, over the weekend, they re-signed their backup and might be soon-to-be starter Elvis Merzlikins to a 2-year deal. And Columbus, like I said, I think Rask and Halak's the best goalie duo in the league, but honestly, Korpisalo and Merzlikins might be right behind them, as both of them are so young and they're just so good. And I think that's mainly why the Blue Jackets have always snuck into the playoffs the past few years. You know, the Blue Jackets, they did a wonderful job replacing Bobrovsky. That is for sure. And I thought the Blue Jackets made a smart move here. They signed their probably goalie of the future if Korpisalo leaves in a couple years.
Yeah, I was stunned when Merzlikins got like 3 straight shutouts. I was like off of my chair, my mind, and just like saying like, what is going on? Does John Tortorella deserve the Jack Adams Award?
I know, really. He has 5 shutouts on the year, and yeah. He's beating great teams like Boston, Washington, Pittsburgh. He's beaten all those teams. Don't sleep on Elvis Merzlikins, guys. He's a very good player.
Yeah,
and he is definitely one of the starting all-star goalies in the league. Also, if he does make the all-star game in a couple years, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Yeah, that's gonna be on our next week podcast topic will be, does John Tortorella deserve the Jack Adams Award? So yeah, we'll not answer that. So I'll have one topic and then you can take over everything. The 2020 NHL Draft has announced that they're going to do the same thing what NFL did last week. I disagree with that because usually NHL Draft starts at the end of June, like June 25th.
Right.
Originally June 26th. You got 2 months to decide that. I disagree that because the coronavirus is not gonna be in the summer because the summer will take away the coronavirus.
Yeah, probably.
There's 50% I agree and 50% I disagree. The only thing I agree is that obviously you have to be safe. And what I disagree is want to see reactions like Lafreniere react to his first overall in the Bell Center. Quinton Byfield reaction at the Bell Center. Lots of players want to be dreamed, go into one NHL arena where they're going to get drafted, know what's going to be all about. And what sucks is that all of the draft class for the 2020 draft does not. It's just sad, and I feel bad for those who have been eligible. I think that it's just ruined the whole world, and it's just very sad, and that's a huge I feel bad for them.
Yeah, I agree with you here, and you're right. I mean, obviously safety comes first, but when you still have a whole practically 2 months to make this decision. And like you said, I mean, the coronavirus will probably go away by the summer. Remember, we haven't even started the playoffs yet, and they are projected to start the playoffs around mid-May. So you're really telling me the playoffs won't end by early July, and you really couldn't be doing this like mid-July, maybe very early August? I mean, you're really telling me you have to just do this online thing like the NFL just is like boom right out of the gate. The NFL was stuck in trouble. I mean, they were like, okay, well, obviously this is going to happen. Like they had to just react quick. But the NHL, they had time to think about this. And I don't know. Like I said, I think watching it, like when I was watching NFL draft, I found it way boring than it usually was because I was like, oh man, like I want to hear the crowd go hoopla whenever someone gets drafted or whatever. Because that's what makes that moment for the players as well. But like I said, the NHL's doing safety first, which totally makes sense. But if they're gonna try to restart the season in May, why can't they, do the draft, in that arena where they're playing hockey? They were going to be playing. They're going to resume the NHL being, both the Dakotas or whatever. I mean, you really can't host the NHL draft there. I mean, who will show up? Who knows? You could even have an empty crowd for that. But that's just my opinion. I mean, NHL doing the smart thing, I guess. But at the same time, they kind of, I don't know. I felt like they should have waited just a tick longer. I would have said probably, early June if coronavirus still is still going crazy. Then I would have had to set my foot down and say, oh yeah, NHL definitely get the right call. But when you still have the entire month of May, it's kind of like you could have waited it out. I felt like, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. And one more. The 2020 World Championships, which lost my mind because what lost my mind was that. Remember that I broadcasted the 2020 World Junior Championships, which was one of the most viewed on my sportscaster history. I was really wanting to do the World Championships so bad, and what's the tournament is going to be next week if that does not exist. May 10th. They announced it like a month ago because like you have like 3 months. 3 months. You have like 3 months to decide. Like they should decide like right now with the NHL draft. But like from that, I just felt bad because last year, I'm not gonna lie, was like the best tournaments that I ever watched. With the new guys coming in, like Jack Hughes from USA, Kapakako from Finland, Jacob Verana from Czech Republic, Philip Hronek from Czech Republic, I think Andrei Burakovsky from Sweden. So like from those players on their first, like most of the players on the roster was their first time at the World Championships.
Right.
I think that was the best World Championships that I watched, and I want to see more of that because I want to see Lafreniere play once again. Probably some players that I haven't seen yet, like last year or the year before that. So like yeah, like I just want to see it, which just felt bad for
I mean, again, you might as well be safe than sorry. I mean, we are getting a lot of tournaments, of course, overseas as well, again, taken away. But, I mean, like I said, NHL and really all sports league, just everybody in general, they got to play it smart. I know it's going to stink, but, at least you can hopefully look forward that by next year, everything will redeem itself. And, like all these tournaments and stuff like that will certainly make up for the lost ones this year. So, I mean, I guess we just have to wait and see, I guess. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, obviously it stinks. What was interesting, I actually didn't commentate the World Juniors, but I was actually going to give it more of a try the next time around. But unfortunately, that's going to probably be a while, but oh well. But yeah, I totally agree with you. It stinks, but good call by the league, I guess.
Yeah, and like once I found out that it was the most viewed, I was like losing my mind. So I was like, I'm doing this every day since it helped, like grabbing like more followers and more views coming in, and like that was just pretty cool. All right, now it's your turn. There was one topic that I'm gonna have fun, scream my mind. Let's do this. Sorry, what's next, Grant?
I think you might know, and I know we both Really like this guy, and we want to wish Joel Ward the happiest retirement because the guy was a legend.
Yeah.
Guy was a Capitals and Sharks legend. Also spent a year on the Wild, as long with spending 4 productive years on the Predators as well. Yeah, the guy was absolutely clutch. I mean, during the regular season, you can say whatever. He was your third line grinder, but he turned it on every postseason. 2012 with the Capitals, 2016 with the Sharks. Just
And
the guy was clutch in the playoffs. There's just nothing else to say about him.
I'm sorry, Garrett, but I have to say this. 2012, that was awesome.
Oh, I'm out of here. Nah.
I'm sorry, bud. I like Joel Ward as a player. Like you said, like he was very clutch. Lots of memories made by Caps fans, and like he was like loved and blessed by all Caps fans. Well supportive. Like I think everyone felt blessed that he was in the NHL. Made iconic calls like I think Joe Beninati saying like we're coming back to Washington when Joel Ward scored the buzzer beater. And I think Craig Laughlin also said buzzer beater. And like 2012 like Emmerich like saying like I don't know the exact quotes, but like he like Joel Ward is like the Alex Burrows of like
pretty much, yeah. Alexander Burrows was another one. Just did nothing during the regular season, but just cranked it on whenever the playoffs came around.
yeah, like I also once again like thank Joel Ward for making great memories as a Caps fan, and God bless him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, Joel Ward was definitely one of my favorite players on the Capitals, Sharks, and Predators. I wasn't watching hockey when his rookie year, 06-07, he was on Minnesota. But take a look at this. So in 2013-14, Joel Ward played a full 82-game season, 24 goals, 25 assists, and he had a +7 rating. And then you fast forward to his first year with the Sharks in 2015-16, just 79 games. He had 43 points, 21 goals, and 22 assists. So, I mean, the guy, for mainly a third liner for the majority of his career, the guy had some productive seasons. We'll get into some scraps. And, of course, like you mentioned, having a lot of iconic moments in the postseason. It's always good to have a guy like Joel Ward because, he's the type of guy who can do everything. He kind of reminds me of Jake DeBrusk a little bit. He'll fight if he has to. He'll score if he has to. He'll get you some points. He'll get you some assists. And he was just a well-rounded player. Not a Hall of Fame or anything, but, Joel Ward is an all-around solid player. He's had a great career for, what he was supposed to have. Wasn't he drafted in, like, the 5th round, too, or something like that? I'll actually check that out right now. But, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he wasn't a high draft pick at all. Well, let's see here. He was, only 304 points in his career. The guy did what he had to do. Not exactly sure when he was. Okay, here he was. He was drafted. He was actually he was a free agent. He was an undrafted free agent. Learn something new every day. So, yeah, crazy stuff there. But, yeah, Joel Ward, hey, listen, for him to play 11 years and have as productive as career he did, props to him. And going to miss you for sure. But, yeah, always one of my favorite players, Joel Ward.
Dude, this room is sweating right now. I am dripping. But, are there any more topics that you want to point out, or pretty much it?
Not really. Actually, I want to mention one quick thing. I go back to Torrey Krug for a second. When I was watching the Boston News earlier this morning, and when Krug was asked, does he want to resign with the Bruins, he said, yeah, because he wants to turn to a Bruin legend like Charon Bergeron. But I also just want to mention, I know this is kind of also a baseball topic, but he named his daughter Fenway because he loves Boston so much. And I was like, I was blown away when I heard that. So just a random fact about Torrey Krug, but yeah, that was about it for me. But yeah, love you, Joe Ward.
So, um, so what's our classic game that we watch from this quarantine? Um, so Graham, what is your favorite classic game that you watched through this quarantine?
I mean, I've seen a lot of quarantine games so far. I was bench watching. I just had school break last week, and I was bench watching a bunch of old games like NHL, NFL, and MLB especially. But man, I still gotta go with the game that I actually have on DVD myself, and I gotta say it's still one of my favorite hockey moments. The Bruins beating the Canucks in Game 7 of the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals. Say what you want about the game; it was boring. The Bruins won 4-0, but I mean, but it just gives me back memories. Back when I was in third grade, I was like, "Oh, the Bruins won the Stanley Cup." It was like the best thing ever. And then I get to witness their choke jobs against the Blackhawks and Blues, but we aren't getting into that. But yeah, always a special moment. I feel like when the Bruins beat the Canucks that game, that was kind of the moment that where I truly felt that hockey was my favorite sport, and, like my passion, like wow, I love like this sport, and hockey's gave me so many great memories over the year. Especially probably the second best game I've watched during this quarantine. Rangers Kings game 5. Of course, I like the Kings just as much as the Bruins, and it's just always great to see Alec Martinez score that goal in double overtime. Just hear Doc Emmerich screaming on the top of his lungs. It's just both moments just so awesome in NHL history. But what would you be your favorite game you watched, Alex? I'm curious. Unfortunately, it's unfrozen here. Yeah, like I said, I watched a ton of games during quarantine. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know why Alex froze up. There he is. Hopefully, this will work.
Okay. All right. I apologize, everyone. All right. So as I was.
All right, you're back.
All right. I apologize. So as I was saying, my favorite classic game was the 1995-96 season, the Montreal Canadiens and the Dallas Stars final game at the Montreal Forum. That was I love the closing ceremonies as well, because you're pulling out one of the greatest Canadians of all time, like Henry Richard, Jean Beliveau, Frank Mahovich, Ivan Korn. Yeah. And all that, like that does as well respect and right. Who actually got ceremonies right. So I think that was one of my favorite classic games that I ever watched, and yeah, that 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 was fun, and I always watch it over and over again.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Who won that game?
But I'm having difficulties. I apologize.
Oh, you're fine. But yeah, who won that game? The Canadians.
We'll wrap up. Who won? It was Montreal.
Oh, yeah.
I think the final score was like Pierre Turgeon. John had like two.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, Alex is freezing up here, guys. I don't know what's up, but basically, here Turgeon scored 2 goals. Looks like Canadians beat the Stars. I also found out another classic game, which I might actually do with my throwback commentary, but I found out the last ever Hartford Whalers game is actually on YouTube. So I think I might end up doing that as a throwback. But yeah, hopefully Alex doesn't lag out here because we were doing very good for a while. All right, let's see Alex now. He looks back in, and yeah, hopefully there are no more further interruptions.
I don't know.
There we go. I was about to say we can hear you, but we can't see you.
All right. We will wrap up with one topic: the 2020-21 NHL events that already announced like a couple months ago. The 2020-21 Winter Classic will be St. Louis Blues taking on the Minnesota Wild at Target Field, which was the home baseball team, the Minnesota Twins. It was a good matchup, to be honest. Like past playoff teams and the Avalanche. Well, I already had their outdoor game a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're good.
All right, there we go. Now you're getting a little bit better.
Yeah, we
The Islanders playing an outdoor game. The Bruins, maybe. I mean, I could see that as well, I guess. I could also see the Flyers playing another outdoor go, but I mean that was just such a thrilling game, and I could definitely see the Flyers wanting to play another outdoor game. Maybe Pittsburgh, I don't know, but I would definitely say probably the Capitals, the Flyers, the Hurricanes, and yeah, probably the Bruins would probably be the 4 best shots in the East, with maybe the Islanders. And if I had to go for the Western Conference, I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't know if there's any team that really, should be playing an outdoor game in the Western Conference. I would probably say maybe Vancouver. I mean, maybe Vancouver. I'm trying to think. Dallas and Nashville was a Winter Classic this year, so maybe don't give them another one so quickly. I'm thinking Anaheim. It's been, I think, since 2014, same series as the Ducks playing outdoor game. I mean, do they really deserve one? No. I'm thinking outside the box. I was going to say the Coyotes, but that one, I don't know how that would work. Especially, out in the desert. Maybe they'll be like the road team for a game. I don't know. But, yeah, it's just my thoughts on who I think might play an outdoor game next year. Not to mention, we'll have like the Jets and like the Flames, or like the Jets and the Oilers and like the Heritage Classic probably. So something to look forward to for any Canadian fans. don't know why this is glitching up. What the heck?
Hey, that's pretty much it. Episode 2 podcast. Thank you guys very, very much for coming in. I know that we didn't get to an hour, but that's all right. Episode 3 is gonna be exciting since we're gonna have our first ever guest. We're gonna unveil our first guest on Monday, maybe. So yeah, with that, if you guys like this podcast, difficulties by me, let's not worry about that. We're new to this. We're trying to build up chemistry, like I said. Check out our Instagram at Powerskateshow, and I think we didn't ready yet because we need a. So the Adam. Oh. Grant.
Yeah, Alex, I don't know why you're lagging so much, but yeah, like I said, the first half an hour was going great. Then all of a sudden, I guess you just started lagging. But I could finish the outro for you in case you can't hear Alex. Once again, thank you guys for watching. This is the All Power Skate Show here on Sportscaster. Next week, we will be having our first guest. Very excited to welcome him on the show. But yeah, you know, for me, Grant Flood, and for Alex, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like button. Follow us here on Sportscaster. Follow our Instagram account, Powerskate Show. You get some hockey news over there as well. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me, everyone. I'm Grant Fluff from Fluster Sports Zone saying, have a good night, everybody. And Alex, you can say goodbye to your stream as well.
All right, thank you guys very much. Really do appreciate it. Like I said, and once again, I apologize for the difficulties on my phone. There are some difficulties with my route.
They kicked him off again. Oh no. Well, I mean, I'm gonna end the broadcast here, but definitely go check out Alex's sportscaster and definitely go follow him there and stuff like that. Yeah, again, I don't know what's going on. It was good for about the first half an hour. Then the Alex changed to his phone and wasn't going so great afterwards. But like I said, only second episode, so don't worry. We're still improving in a lot of spots. We're still trying to figure stuff out. You know, what area works best for me, what area works best for Alex. I decided to whip up a new hockey background. This is only going to be the background for the All Sports. Well, actually, for the Power Skate Show, and I might use this background for the All Sports Talk Show as well, probably here and there. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Alex is gonna come back on. Honestly, I don't think he should. But anyway, that's gonna be it for me, guys. I'm Grant Fluff from What's the Sports Zone with Alex still saying, have a good night, everybody. And again, don't worry, we will make sure we will fix this in the upcoming future. But make sure you tune in next week where you get our first special guest. But as for Grant and Alex,